Hi everyone, this is Renee with the iPhone blog. We're at WWDC 2010 and I'm with Craig from the Icon Factory. How's it going?
Hi Renee, I'm doing really well.
So since the last time we've talked, Apple has iterated not only the iPhone, but they've introduced a whole new category of device with the iPad, and once again Twitterrific was there day one.
Yes, that was a very interesting 60 days, let's put it that way. A lot of developers who were there on day one basically had no life for 2 months.
And no iPad to test it on until it came.
Yeah, exactly. No life and no iPad. It was. I was very impressed with the quality of the apps that were available on day one. Because I know how hard it was to do these things without the actual hardware and not actually physically seeing your creation. But the thing that the iPad represented to us is it really gave us a chance to step back and look at our apps, and it's very obvious from what Apple is doing with their own apps that simplification is the name of the game, and it gave us a great opportunity to do that with our own app, to think about what's really important, to trim back the feature set, to just make things as simple as possible. And I think we came out with an app that's much better for it.
So you didn't have to just rethink the way that people interact with the app, but you rethought the approach you took to the app as well.
Yeah. It basically started with a blank slate. Our first approach was to take an existing iPhone app and just blow it up to the iPad size, and within a matter of hours we knew that just wasn't going to work. So the approach of starting with a blank slate, thinking about how people are going to interact with this new kind of device. We've got some really talented designers that I work with, and they did a great job of coming up with these designs with no physical hardware. I mean, a lot of printouts and scale sitting on their desk, trying to envision how it's going to be like to tap through the UI.
I think everyone had the cardboard iPad the very day after the keynote.
Yeah, exactly. We all had our piece of cardboard and printouts pasted to it.
You've always been very good at focusing on it's almost like in writing, you pick your theme and then you throw away anything that doesn't follow that theme, and you had that all the way going back to the original Twitterrific. So, and it sounds like that's still what you're doing. You're trying to find that core functionality and make the app as focused as it can be on that.
The thing that we're doing now is we're taking the things that we learned with the iPad and bringing them over to the iPhone. It's interesting that we're doing kind of the same thing that Apple is doing with iPhones, right? They started off with a larger canvas and a reading application, figuring out how to do the bookmarks and go through pages and that kind of thing. And then bringing that down onto a smaller screen is actually easier than going the other way.
Okay.
So yeah, the next version of Twitterrific for the iPhone is going to take a lot of the things that we learned on the iPad and bring it to the iPhone.
So it's almost like a virtuous cycle from one to the other.
Yeah. The beauty of iPad and iPhone, is that you can share code across the two platforms. Obviously, the interactions are going to be slightly different. The way the physical size of the screen, the rotation, the sizing of elements is different, but the core parts of the application are the same, and the code that talks to the network, for example, is the same. So there's a lot of things you can share between those two products, and which is good for users, right? If they become comfortable with how your application works on the iPad, it's a good thing to have the same kind of metaphors and look and feel on the iPhone, right? It's something that they'll feel comfortable with.
You managed to walk a good line though, because they're very similar, but at the same time the iPhone is really an on-the-go device. You're entering things while you're remote and mobile, and the iPad you're kind of on your couch, you're relaxing, enjoying, and then Twitterrific, it goes back to almost that classic reader approach you had originally.
Right. It's amazing to me how well Apple positioned the iPad between the desktop, the mobile. They really found a gap there where the iPad fits really well, and that's the thing that we're all finding. Now that we actually have the iPad and a big part of our daily life, mine is is 9 times out of 10 in the living room,
Yeah.
right, or in the kitchen, and it's just I like to call it relaxed computing, casual computing.
Yes.
It's very different than mobile computing, right?
Yeah.
Nobody carries around an iPad in their pocket. It's not going to fit unless you got a really big pocket.
Like Stephen Colbert.
Yeah. But that kind of gives you different use cases, different kinds of things you design for. But you're still using your body to interact with that device. It's still a touch screen, and all that is a very makes it familiar in both of those environments. But the visible size is differentiating.
And Apple seems to consciously give a core functionality and then bring people along step by step into using their interfaces. And your stuff has always supposed to be very similar. You start with a very core set of features, even again with the iPad version, and then with the next version you built out from that core, so you were bringing people along with the functionality again.
Yeah, that's something that we've been developing applications for Mac for a long time. So you got to think about the whole experience and think about now we have to think about the products across a range of platforms, which is something that you have to think about from the beginning, right? As we were designing the iPad application, in the back of our mind we're thinking, well, how is this going to work on the iPad, right? Is there things that we do while we're designing the iPad application that we can then reuse as we're doing the iPhone?
And you have to keep up with Twitter too, like they just switched to OAuth, right? So you had to change the way that you handle your logins.
Yeah.
And before you had the Twitpocalypse to deal with. And
but again, the advantage there of having one source code base that we can fix the OAuth thing on the iPad and we get it for free on the iPhone.
Or you did XOAuth, I think, right? On the
XOAuth.
Which was much nicer because some of the other applications they kick you out into a web interface and back, and yours is very seamless.
That's actually something that we're very happy that Twitter did, and that they really listened to developers about that, because the user experience of going out to a browser and then coming back is just very convoluted, and we're very happy to avoid.
So going forward, are you going to make sure they develop for both platforms? Are you going to single target like some apps for one, some apps for the other?
I think it's a good idea to look at both as a target. And the thing that we've learned is that it's not hard to do both if you think about it a little more in depth at the beginning of the project. We've yet to do that, but I think that's generally a good idea. And I'm hearing from a lot of other developers that they're thinking along the same lines.
It makes a lot of sense.
It's the thing that makes most sense right now.
Yesterday, Steve showed off a new iPhone. Steve Jobs on the new iPhone. What was your thoughts on it?
Oh, it's. I don't get excited about hardware, but I'm excited about.
You're excited about hardware.
Yeah, it's the higher resolution display and just the design of the device. It looks great.
It looks to me like the iPhone Johnny Ives always wanted to make, but now he has the technology to do it.
Yeah. They've done some pretty amazing things as far as the glass surfaces on the front and the back. I think that's a pretty impressive piece of mechanical engineering. The antenna being a part of the body.
They had developers cheering for an antenna.
Yes, exactly. and I had a feeling that after seeing some of the pictures online of the device, and hear people, those got to be fake. No, Apple would never put a seam like that in the device. It's like, yeah, they might if there was a good reason. Yeah, it turns out there was a good reason. So I think the iPhone 4 along with the new version of iOS is going to be a really fantastic combination. I can't wait to have one in my pocket.
And we can't wait to have more Icon Factory software in 2010.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I can't wait for it either.
Need that RamChamp HD is what I'm waiting for.
Yeah. There's a lot of graphics to make HD.
I'm sure there are. Craig, thank you very much.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, Renee.
Craig Hockenberry from the Icon Factory.